Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Extra Time presented by a 90 Minutes podcast. As always, we have Luke with us, and then David's also joining us this week as well. How we doing tonight, guys?
Doing all right. Doing pretty great
Doing
considering
good.
Good.
everything. So yeah, how are you, John?
Doing well. It's late,
Yeah, it is late.
so I'm glad we were able to record it tonight after everything that happened last week. Um, so let's jump right into the main topic tonight. Basically, I'm sure a lot of people saw on X or on Facebook the controversy that arose from Luke and I posting on X and David posting on Facebook with the massive group of people um, on the, as you're facing at the right side of the supporters section, taking photos of Lewandowski while he was taking the penalty kick last Wednesday. Um, my posts, well, we'll just talk about basically each of our posts and what we should have done differently or could have done differently, and then we'll tackle the subject at hand. So basically, my post, I could have worded it a little bit differently because my gripe wasn't with just the supporters groups. It's also with the club and how they've softened the rules of the wall. Um, but with the way the supporter groups act when it comes to the wall, um, they're also at fault because they want to act like they're the reason the wall's there and everything, which is half true. But yeah, I mean that's really the I should have worded my post a little bit differently, and not specifically said supporter groups, or said supporter groups in front office or however you want to explain it. Luke, is there anything with your post that you would have changed how you started, or how you posted it or anything?
Nope. No. Um. No. The reason why is because it was just everything I said in the post were absolutely factually true. I don't feel like my first. I'm quoting these, so they're on Twitter, so or X, whatever you want to call it. Were true. And one of them was a direct quote from the game day email that was written by the club. Not me, the club. So, I have no regrets. I have no quarrels or qualms or regrets about what I wrote. Nothing. Now, if people have a problem with it, then their problem should be with the club and not with me. Please don't be like don't have a go at me. You know, people were coming at me from all different angles, different important people, whatever important people, quote in air quotes if you're watching on audio. Um,
Watching on audio. Wow,
watching on audio, wow, it's a long day for me.
it has been a long day for
Yeah,
you.
or if you're listening on audio or watching on the video on the YouTube video, those were in air quotes. Yeah. So I don't really have any kind of regrets. Maybe I could have just bit my tongue and on a few people and just kind of left it as it is. But yeah, maybe I could have just let it sit for a little bit. But my initial reply, I've got nothing, no regrets. Yeah.
David, Mr. Controversy himself. So the dude posts one thing on Facebook, and the
He covered the
whole
Facebook realm.
whole Orlando City supporters group Facebook had a go at him. It seemed like. David, anything you would have changed with your original post? And how you stated what you originally said in the post.
No, and anybody is welcome to take a look at it. Of course, the people that I haven't blocked yet is welcome to go look at it. I think, quite honestly, if it's a discussion group, is about discussing stuff of the club. What happens on the wall during game day is fair game. I don't understand what my position as a podcaster has to do with anything. We've been vilified for a long time, not only us, but all the other podcasts. And while we are friends with some other podcasters and not so much friends with others, we have mutual respect for one another because what we do it for free. We do it because we love the club. And let's be honest, uh, traditional media is not covering this club. The only person in this town that is doing that is our friend Mike Ramal, and simply because he's an OG, a podcaster for Orlando City. He has now a real job as a journalist, and he continues to cover the club. So thank you, Mike, if you ever listen to this, uh, because nobody else is doing that. Um, I think that uh, personally, it was a huge lesson for me to understand that there's people that just hate us for who we are, period. And bringing old Twitter beef and calling people names achieves nothing because at the end of the day, what happened on the wall was an embarrassment that somebody has to own. But nobody wants that. Everybody wants to pretend that everything's
Listen,
going hunky dory. Go ahead.
and David will own it, right? I owned it on Twitter. I said it's embarrassing.
It
I
is
owned it. We owned it on the
absolutely,
wall. Nobody
and
had accountability. Everyone was pointing fingers and stuff like that. As an Orlando City supporter, I own that because that's my responsibility. This is my fan. This is my club.
is our
I have to
grounds.
protect from these people. These people who claim they're fans, but yet will whip out their phone for an opposition player. And same people that say, "Oh, but what if he saved it?" Blah blah blah. You do not do that every single freaking game. Give it a break. Like, what we
Yes,
doing here? Like, there is no chance that a group of people, right, wearing a Bayern Munich shirt, right? By the way, the image has a guy in a Bayern Munich shirt. Oh,
And a Norway
coincidence.
shirt and a
Yeah,
France shirt.
yeah. Wearing a Bayern Munich shirt. There's no way. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. There's
well,
no chance. So,
since my time with you guys is going to be limited, I just want to go through the nitty gritty.
Yeah, go
Personally,
for it.
personally, I take offense to the fact that people view our show as a detriment to the fan base. Personally, we have covered a lot of things. We have brought up a lot of gripes up front, have been taken care of. We're gonna take credit for that. Also, we through this show, we have met a lot of players, their families, the people in the front office, and at least from my standpoint, nobody has had anything to say negative about the show. We make a show that you can listen with your kids. We refrain from obscenities. We uh, dedicate ourselves to the show. We don't attack people. And what happened this past week, it was obscene, but doesn't surprise me at all because just like people complain that Messi has created a bad reputation for Miami where people fight and do all sorts of things, there's people that also have created an environment that any criticism to the supporter groups, it's taken personal. And I will finish with this statement right here. When we talk about supporter groups, personally, I think David Valentin, have been unfair because I say supporter groups and I point to the whole membership, and that's not necessarily true. I blame certain individuals for the attitude that has taken place, and as you saw on Facebook, it was the leadership of the Rockets and the ILF that did that to me. So I'm just gonna take the high road. I'm not gonna respond. I'm not gonna say anything negative. I think at this point I have tried to be civil. I have tried to be respectful. I try to mend fences, meet people halfway. I have told people, hey, we don't have to be best friends. We just want the best for the club. We want our club to win. So just stay with your friends. I stay with mine, and we leave it at that. That's not enough for people. So I don't know how many apologies or how many explanation tours or anything I have to do for it to be good enough. And on that thread that you see on Facebook, I was told that they don't care about what was happening. They just wanted to make sure to remind people that I'm a bad person or whatnot. Uh, Lastly, if the people saying that to me are the standard of good people, then we're screwed as humanity. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Once again, like I said on the main show, I appreciate the people that have stuck with us, simply because they have seen us for face value. I have said it many times. I'm here to talk about football, not to talk about my faith, not to talk about my political views, not to talk about anything else but football. And we can all be on the big tent of Orlando City. And again, we're not here to insult or humiliate anybody, but at the end of the day, the dwindling membership, the issues they have, is gonna prove it. I was told by two podcasters, I will remain nameless, that the situation that you see on the wall is going to come to a resolution, because people give you three things that they don't have a lot of: their time, their presence, and their money. And as things continue to go in the direction they're going, eventually you're going to run out of people. You're going to run out of people. There's more ex members of the supporter groups than there are members of the group. With that said, uh, personally, like I said, if there's a situation in game day that happens, we'll talk about it. Now, if there's other things that are not related to gameplay, like getting banners stolen, people arrested, etc., I personally don't want to talk about that, because the supporter groups have made it very clear that I'm not welcome to touch those topics, and quite honestly, it's none of my business what they do in their supporter group, because that's why they pay for a membership. That's why they follow their rules. That's why they follow their subculture, and that's perfectly okay. I am about Orlando City. I am about our club. I'm about winning, and I will concentrate on that. So, with that said, once again, I want to thank our supporters for sticking by us, by ignoring the negativity and supporting us every week. And one of the things I have said to many people, our audience fits comfortably in a Lynx bus. It's not like we're talking at large to hundreds and hundreds of people. Very few people listen to podcasts. The people that choose us, thank you very much for that. And with that, I will have to say that I consider that matter resolved and closed, at least from my standpoint. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, David.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack there. We could run probably 4 episodes off of just
Yeah,
off
we actually
reacting to
could.
what he said. The one thing that I want to bring up that's so fascinating about the entire ordeal is the people that were commenting on it. And then you look at, we posted a video on TikTok as well. After everything kind of started blowing up, David posted a video on TikTok and did reasonably well. And the amount of comments that were on it was amazing. They were all supporting us. But guess what? Guess who's not really on TikTok? The supporters groups.
No.
So, I don't know about you, David, but the amount of DMs that I've received, I don't know if you've received any, Luke, with people saying, hey, I agree with you, but I don't, I'm a member of a supporter group. Please don't let it out there that I agree with you, because I don't want to, I don't want to lose I don't want to lose my standing in the group.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
amazing. It's not the hundreds. It's not the hundreds, but
well,
10 to 20
they don't,
DMs.
They don't. Well, you guys have your Twitter stuff on the thing. Like, please don't find me. You can voice your opinions all you want, but voice it publicly. That's the best way to get this done. Is please just don't DM us if you have kind of like complaints or like anything, genuine opinions, right, about the supporters groups. They should respect that. Respect your point of view, respect your perspective on what is going on, right? And they should help you as a member, because you are a paying member, to try to solve those issues, right? You shouldn't be in fear of losing your status as a member because your opinions or perspectives or views differ from somebody else, or differs from a leadership member, or differs from any member. That's kind of what our point is coming from, is John and David are getting these like direct messages, I'm being very specific on this podcast because, I don't want them to come back saying that was false or this was false or whatever. I'm being very specific and factual. I have got no DMs from people whatsoever, apart from one account where people can kind of, I named it as an account, so you can kind of use your inferences as B of what that is. Apart from them, I've not got anything. So, just being very specific and very factual when it comes to these type of things, because they're very sketchy, especially when, if you read some type of laws, a lot of people could be in trouble when it comes to these type of things. But yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, going back, so let's just start with the issue at hand. I kind of already explained it. You know, I'm, when it comes to supporter sections, as we call them here, basically every club overseas has their different name for that section, where over there it's the ultras or the firms, or whatever you want to call it.
stand or
Yeah. The section that's more rowdy than the rest. It's not your sit there and applaud type of section. Anywhere else, it is not acceptable to do that. Anywhere else, it's not acceptable to have your phone out, to be taking photos of the opposing fan. And depending on the club or the country, it is actually highly, highly, highly suggested no photographs whatsoever of that section, unless it's really drawn out where you can't see individual faces. Obviously, if it's on television, you can't really deal with that. But if in certain clubs in certain countries, if people are seen taking their phone out and taking a photo, they're immediately told not gently to put it away. And if they don't put it away, they're, again, not gently removed from the stadium. And I'll just keep it at that. We don't endorse violence on this show, but it's part of what happens in the sport when it comes to supporters. I'm of the old school belief that literally I might take a photo if we score a goal, if they celebrate in front of me, because we're usually right next to the pitch, right next to the corner flag, where they celebrate. That's really the only time you'll see me during a match taking a picture of any sort. And it's just, that's my belief. And then the other issue, and this has been an issue Luke and I particularly have had for a very long time, is non-neutral colors and non-Orlando City colors and kits or gear, shirts, whatever, in the wall. It specifically says, the first sentence in that "Know Before You Go," everyone on the wall is required. I'm reading this, quoting this in here. Everyone on the wall is required to wear Orlando City's colors / gear or neutral colors, white, semicolon, white, comma, black. That's pretty cut and dry to me.
yeah.
But for some reason, our security and our front office seems to be okay with letting Bayern jerseys in, Norway jerseys, kits, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Norway kits in. There's a PSG kit in the supporters section this past weekend. Every mat, almost every.
And also, an England kit.
Yeah, Luke
Right.
called out an England kit.
And sorry, I'm just gonna give me 30 seconds, right? To show you how unbiased I am and how I want the rules and safety to be, I called out to a security guard that there was a guy with an England kit on, right? And I wanted him gone or changed his shirt, right? Because he does not belong there. He does not belong in an Orlando City supporters section because he's wearing an England kit, right? They didn't do it. They didn't remove him, right? They just kind of laughed at me because I was like, oh, the England guy's removing somebody with an England shirt. And I'm like, no, it's just the rules. and unfortunately they didn't follow by the rules. The security didn't do anything, and that just shows I don't have any bias towards anyone. I wouldn't show up to an Orlando game with a Blackpool kit on, right? I wouldn't, because Blackpool's not playing, right? I wouldn't show up to Orlando with an England shirt on because England's not playing, right? It's just simple as it's respect for the other team. It's respect for the team that's playing. And unless you're in Orlando, you're either wearing a black or white shirt that's kind of neutral, or an Orlando shirt, or a purple shirt, depending on what you want. But, like, any other shirt, not really. It's not needed. Like, there's tons of free shirts around the stadium. Just go grab one. Anyways, go on.
No, you're fine, Luke. It's a conversation. But yeah, I mean, you can go and pick up a purple, a white, a black shirt from Walmart, Michaels, Hobby Lobby, Target. Publix sells T-shirts, like your undershirt T-shirts if you're really that desperate. Goodwill has them. Any clothing store you can go and find a plain black, a plain white, or a plain purple shirt. And it's just like that's one rule that when I bring people to matches, I'm like, listen, you're either wearing black, white, or purple. Those are your three options. Don't come wearing red, which I know we have a red kit this year. Don't come wearing pink. Don't come wearing yellow. I'm saying, it's funny because I'm saying colors we have, but, don't come in all yellow. Don't come in all blue, stuff like that. Come in purple, black, or white.
Or an Orlando City shirt, that's another colour.
Yeah, which
you do have ones out there that's kind of a bit obscure.
Yeah.
But, like,
but that's still it still has the Orlando City badge on it.
Yeah. It's an Orlando
City. And it's just like, I just don't understand. Well, I know why our front office is changing. So the way it used to be is if somebody was found in the supporter section with with non-Orlando City colors / gear and non-neutral colors, is they were told 3 times, and if they didn't change their shirt or didn't move and purchase a new shirt, Orlando Police Department would come and escort them out. Well, our front office, because we have a front office on the business side, not the sporting side, the business side, that has zero idea about the culture of the sport, zero idea about the culture, the culture of supporters, the culture of ultras, the culture of firms, whatever term you want to use for it. The business side of the front office has zero idea, and business side includes customer relations, guest relations, and because of that, they don't want to offend people and don't want to hurt people's feelings by having Orlando Police Department escorting people out. If they're not going to do it, then you need to have your security people do it, that you hire. Not have them laugh at somebody that's been, with such as Luke, that's been going to Orlando City games his entire life here in the United States, and you basically laugh at him.
Yeah, it's like, it's completely disrespectful towards me and just other people, like, it doesn't matter who it is. It's like, he thought, like, the security guard I've known for a while, like, I've known him for quite a long time, and he thought I was joking, and I'm like, mate, I'm not joking. And I'm like, who were we playing? It was the last game, innit?
It wasn't this past week, it was the week before. It was the Leagues Cup. It was a Leagues Cup. Was it Lyon?
Yeah, something like that. So there was no England player playing in that game. But I was like, just thinking, it was kind of like, why? Like, why are you laughing? Like, any other time, any other place, any other kit, it's not alright. Like, it's just not. And I get it, I'm English, and I'm kind of, but it's not allowed. And it shows how in unbiased I am. Like, I'm not looking at it and saying, yeah, great England kit, mate. Like, wear it again. No, I don't want it in there, because I'm at an Orlando game. If I wanted to see an England kit, I'd go to an England game, if I could afford it. that's another thing. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say. I'm really chilled out today, not going on a huge tangent about.
Well, and I mean, you want to talk about bias and not bias. Luke and David know that I follow Milan, AC Milan, and Dortmund in Germany, Milan obviously in Italy. And I, because my eyes are naturally drawn to the yellow and black and the black and red, specific kits of those clubs, it's easier for me to spot out. And I've called them out and been like, "Hey, there's a Milan kit right up there. You let him walk right past you and come in here? Are you serious? Like, what are we doing?" Like, to me, if you have that kit on, the people the people that do the security check should be like, "Nope, you got to go change your shirt." Period. You're not even allowed in this entrance, and they shouldn't even be allowed to walk in and get a wristband, because they walk in and get a wristband, all of a sudden they're entitled to being able to sit in there. Well, guess what? You're not following. What To me, wearing a kit like that is no different than running onto the pitch. It's not. It's a rule.
John, if I may interject, personally, one of the things that to me we tend to forget is, I understand that the club, all clubs, okay, in MLS and in any league, they sort of exploit the supporter section because it has a cool pictures, it makes for great media engagement, etc., etc. And one of the things that you have to understand is that a lot of focus goes to that area, regardless of what's happening. It's the eyes are always gonna go there because it's the loudest, and they're standing while everybody's sitting. So the focus is gonna be there. Um, on a personal note, while you can put a lot of blame on security, we have discussed this many times. The security, it's not like those guys are getting paid a lot of money. They're a rotating group of people. A lot of people did not grow up in a football culture, don't understand, and et cetera, et cetera. It's up to is up to the supporter groups themselves to enforce the rules that they have created, and also for them to continue to have an attitude where the grounds are respected. And one of the things that we I have seen by following my overseas teams is that there's always people there that are used to enforce respect for the grounds. Don't leave garbage behind. Be respectful to the ushers, to the staff that works in the concessions, et cetera, et cetera. And unfortunately, there's a segment that feel that that doesn't apply to them. That responsibility doesn't apply to them. That they are blameless in a lot of the situations that we have discussed. And you know, if you point that out, then you become the enemy. You become the enemy, and you are not there to be greeted in a good way. Because I also receive the DMs. I also got good feedback from the Discord, and the situation is always the same. I fear speaking out in public. That doesn't sound like a democratic environment or an environment of respect if people act in fear. Okay, these are paying members that they pay their dues, and fear. That's the word, fear, retaliation. So that to me doesn't speak volumes of an environment where people are exercising good leadership. Good leaders grow organizations. Good leaders do not contract them. Good leaders make their organization attractive for others to join it. And one of the things that we have seen is that the wall keeps getting, it's not as loud as it used to be. That's a fact. I sit on the south side. I had at least 10 people tell me that, hey, I can barely tell what those guys are saying. I did notice that the amount of people participating in the chanting is very small compared to years past. And also, the walk to the stadium is very poorly attended. Used to be a lot of people, not anymore. People can pretend that what I'm saying is not the truth, but people that not necessarily are the strawman, the boogeyman, and the whipping boys that they have created, that have made out of me, unjustifiably or justifiably, depending on what point of view you're having. And there's other fans that are basically saying this does not look like it used to be. And I'll finish with this statement because unfortunately I will have to leave you guys. Um, the fact of the matter is that in the Citrus Bowl in section 120 and 121, there was a spirit of excitement, big tent, and the reality is that that has dissipated. I will direct this exhortation to the leadership of the supporter groups in good faith, because we're all in this together. Even if you don't think that I am your equal or that our goals are not the same, the reality is that you are here to lead a supporter group for Orlando City. That's going to be a big tent. That's going to include people that you may not have anything in common with outside of the stadium. That may include people that you may not agree in anything other than I want Orlando City to win. So, with that said, it's time to stop treating the supporter group as the type of group of friends that I want to have around and turn it into the organization that it was before. Because let's be honest, we don't see the Founders Days as the festivities anymore. We don't see the activities of going to do charity work for Habitat for Humanity, painting somebody's house. The supporter groups used to do things that did not necessarily include game day activities.
Yeah,
But what
one of my
happened?
favorite events from the Ruckus groups were the Ruckus derbies, or the derbies between the
It's
things.
between the supporter groups.
Yeah, and it
All that has been gone because to some individuals that is not priority. That is not important. Like I said, David Valentin, your local enemy, I do not have to tell you these things. You can see them, and they have been documented through the social media, through the club social media, through Google searches. You can see what used to be. That's what attracted me to the supporter groups in the first place. The problem is, my good friends, is that there's people that dislike David Valentin, the person, and they are in their right to do that. They are in their right to do that. But to utilize my dislike and to utilize the fact that we have a show that will criticize them, that we have praised them many, many times. Even when the ILF kicked me out, when they boycotted the Leagues Cup, I was very vocal. I shared their posts. I said, "This is good leadership. This is the example." So again, I would love for us to squash the beef once and for all. Like I said, you don't have to accept me in your group. You don't have to say I'm okay. I would love for us to find common ground, but I just don't think that that will happen simply because of the people that are involved. I I have to tell you that in order for that to happen, there has to be a level of maturity and leadership and a level of understanding and wisdom that eludes them, and with that, John, thank you again. And for the audience, I'm sorry that I can't join you guys. It's 11:50. I'm still at work. I gotta get out of here. But I felt that that was important. And next Monday we are going to do the show with the same intensity, the same passion, the same drive that we always do, because we just love Orlando City, man. Going to the stadium is one of the best feelings in the world. And if you want to classify what's a perfect day for me, is to be surrounded by my friends and my family cheering on our Lions. That's all I want, and that's my goal with all of this. Nothing else. I am nobody. the dad of three kids, a husband. That's all I am. I don't intend to gain anything by doing anything around the club. I just want us to win and to lift trophies. And if that is your goal, this is a place for you. Thank you, guys. I'll be talking to you soon. Okay.
Thanks, David. We'll talk soon.
Oh, thank you.
All right. I do want to address before we move on one specific thing that was brought up in my comments that really annoyed me, honestly. Is somebody said that I did that just to create content for this show. We were going to be talking about this whether the posts got 2 likes or the posts got the comments that they did. Like this to me, this is a bigger deal because this isn't the first time this has happened. This happened in a Miami match too, which is even more embarrassing. And it's just, I started this show at the beginning of this year because one, Luke and I, after the main show when Luke would be on, him and I would talk for 2 hours afterwards about random stuff with our club that we couldn't get to on the show. So that this was starting last year. So then in the off season, I thought about it, talked to Luke a little bit about it, and we decided to do this and call it extra time and go forward with it. And now we're here. So we were going to be talking about this no matter what. Whether it didn't matter whether we posted or not. But Luke just so happened to call me Thursday morning, and we were talking about it. I put it in the group chat, and I'm like, whatever, I'll post it. Like, this is something that has to be said. I did it on my personal account just because it's not something we usually cover with the show's account. We usually stick just to happenings within the club, not
stats and
stuff. Yeah, transfers. News. Yeah, exactly. So I did it on my own account. Luke did it on his own account. Just not really. I honestly really didn't expect much.
No, I didn't either. It's one of those things where I kind of just I just kind of put it out there, and I just thought.
But to me, the fact of the fact that the people that responded or who responded, and they're standing within the different supporters sections, to me spoke a bigger message than could be put in any podcast, in any comment section, any video, anything ever. And it's just the utter insecurity, and David's post is the same. It's the utter insecurity of the supporter groups. And, I want to kind of kick this part off, and it works out well that David left, because this is more what Luke and I are familiar with, is what is the goal of a supporter group? There's 100 different things that the supporter group can do. But what is the goal of the supporter group? And Luke, I'll let you go because I've done a lot of talking. I'll let you go ahead and give your definition, and then I'll chime in if I have anything to add.
No, thanks. I just kind of love this. It's kind of fun. But yeah, so the goal of the supporters groups is you could do tifos, flags, whatever, chants, create them, whack a drum. Stand and throw your arms about, whatever. But ultimately, at the very core of a supporters group is to support the team. The 11 men on that pitch, or women, depending on what sport on the other side you're in. But 11 men on that pitch that goes out there every week, win, lose, or draw, and give them as much encouragement, as much honesty, as much support as you can, so you can push them to win, push them to be better footballers, push them to be better players, better humans, stuff like that. That is ultimately what a supporters group is there for, I think, is the answer to your question.
I'd agree. At its core, it's to And we tell my 4-year-old son that every time we go to the match on the way. Why are we going to the match? To watch the match and support the boys, and it's that simple. And I feel that you know I'm going to back up again because it was something else that was said in the same comment that I'm with Treasure Coast Collective. The only reason I was a member of the Ruckus since 2014, I think it was. The only reason, and I always just signed up General Ruckus, didn't do any of the chapters, didn't do any of that. Just, I like being a part of the Ruckus. I like going to the tailgates, met some really good people, became friends with people through the Ruckus. Of course, I knew of TCC because as time went on, especially 16, 17, 18, their influence in the Ruckus grew. And knew of Brian, knew Luke as the kid that was on the capo stand occasionally, or just knew him as the kid of TCC basically because he's
Oh,
quite a bit younger than me.
oh, oh
So
no.
fast forward to 2021. I've told this before, so if you've heard it, feel free to skip over the next 30 seconds to a minute. Some things happened in my life between 2017 and 2021. There was an ex, didn't like the football matches, yada yada yada, soccer matches, whatever. Um, so I didn't go. 2021, things happened. We went our separate ways, and I started going again. That's when I met my now girlfriend, the mother of my son, and my now girlfriend. She's my whatever. You guys know what I mean. Um, and she had never been to a match. She always, she grew up around sports, was a part of the training staff in high school, yada yada yada. Did the tailgate, brought her to the match, and it was something that because of my experience with my ex, it was important that she liked because it's a part of who I am, is going to the matches, and she loved it. We had a good time. Something was just different though for that tailgate because it was the beginning. It was the beginning. No, that was the next year. Sorry. So we went to the matches when we could. In 2021, finances weren't the greatest. I lost a job. She lost a job, so we couldn't go to every match in 2021. 2022 comes around. We go to the season opener, and for those that remember, in 22, it was like a 2 p.m. kick. So tailgating started with the Ruckus at like 10 a.m. I had this grand idea of, I'm going to buy a bunch of eggs, bacon, sausage, have stuff there to make mimosas, all of that stuff. Did that back in the day with the Ruckus. If I would have done that, we couldn't have kept up with the people. Everybody that we talked to said hi to. I offered, hey, you guys want a drink, want some food? Nobody wanted it. Okay, that's fine. I understand. Right after COVID, no big deal. Not, no worries. And then we went to several other matches in 22, and it was just so different, such a different atmosphere than what I remembered it when I really was going in 2016, especially 2017. So, again, just a member of the Ruckus, like always before, wasn't a member of TCC, whatever. So it was late July, early August. It literally was like 2-3 weeks before the TCC letter came out that they were leaving Ruckus. That I had a conversation with my girlfriend. And I said, hey, I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm not joining back up with Ruckus next year. It's completely different than what it's been for a while. Or was back when I was going. It really doesn't fit what I think a supporters group should be about. Obviously they still show up, they still support them, but the extra stuff that comes into that, it just doesn't feel like it used to, and that's a big part of why I joined them, because I'd still go to them. If I wasn't a part of them, I would have still been going to the matches. It was just a little extra perk to me to be a part of that, to be able to be right there in the middle of the wall, and everything like that. So we made the decision late July, early August of 22, and then like 3 weeks later, the TCC letter comes out, and I see it, whatever, and then over the off season, I see that Brian opened up memberships for TCC. So I messaged him like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, we kind of know each other. And we just had a conversation, and he's like, yeah, just, we've always done it. I'm just doing it. We just want to be there to support Orlando and support the squad, and, still have our presence in the wall and all of that. Perfect. Sign up with them, start tailgating with them. Everything fits perfectly. So for people to say, oh, TCC, he's just doing this and stuff, no. Because this club, my goal when I go to matches, and my goal when I post stuff, my goal to do this podcast is to make this club better. Better, I want it to be better in the community, better on the pitch, better in business, better in marketing, better all around. I want us to be the best club in MLS. Doesn't mean just winning championships. So for people to say, oh, he's TCCing on a podcast, like that's a negative. How's that a negative for me to be doing this because I want to do it the best? Sorry, I'm not a member of a supporters group that doesn't allow me to do a podcast. And it's just like, and to get where I'm going with that is this, to me, the supporter groups collectively, both supporter groups and the individual supporter groups need to have a good look in the mirror and figure out why they're here and why they do what they do, why the leadership is leadership of the Ruckus. Are you there because it's a popularity contest, or are you there to make our club better? Are you there to push the boys to a win? Or are you there to get cool pictures of you lighting smoke or waving a flag? And until the leadership, the supporter groups as a whole, and each individual member of those supporter groups and people that regularly go to the games in the wall or at the stadium really figure out where they're at, stuff like what happened last Wednesday and our home match against Miami with Messi taking the penalty kick and Lewandowski on Wednesday taking the penalty kick will continue to happen until we reinstate the standard of, if you're on the wall, you're there to support Orlando. You're not in the wall just to watch a match. And I remember in 2017 there being a big debate about that with the new wall and everything, with the new stadium and everything. There was a big debate about that. So until that standard is set inside of our supporter groups, that yes, is the face of the wall, is the face of our club, whether you like it or not, things aren't going to change. And the other thing that they need to do is they need to start standing up to the front office. Because the front office doesn't want the supporter groups to go anywhere. Because if they go nowhere, the atmosphere in the stadium is going to go down. Then Luke and I legitimately will have to carry the wall on our shoulders.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
We already do, so.
But, yeah.
So until the supporter group stop worrying about what the front office wants them to do and doing what they want to do, it's not going to get better. And I'm not, take that for what it's worth. I'm not calling on anybody to do violence or anything like that. I'm just saying, when it comes to stuff in the wall, the supporter groups should have the final, like this. If the supporter groups want to do something and it's not harming anybody, they should be allowed to do it. If the supporter group says, hey, or anybody in the wall says, hey, there's a person down there with a France kit, they should be kicked out because it's in the rules. Like I was saying before I turned it over to David. To me, wearing non-Orlando City gear or non-neutral colors on the wall is no different than running onto the pitch. Is no different than having tickets in row Z and trying to move down pitch side in the regular seats. It's no different. It's a part of the rules. And if the front office isn't going to follow those rules, then what choice does that give the supporters groups but to take matters into their own hands? And again, the supporters groups need to stop worrying about their standing with the front office. The front office only uses you as a marketing tool. They're not going to get rid of you guys. Stand up to them every once in a while and do what needs to be done to make the wall what it used to be. Because there was a post, I don't know if you saw it on the group thread or not. Somebody took a screenshot from Reddit, and there was somebody that used to regularly go to Orlando City games. Life happened. They moved away, and they were basically asking, like, what's the deal with the wall? I'm able to make it back for a match. Is it still what it used to be? And to their credit, one of the high-standing members of the Iron Lion firm chimed in and said, nope, it's not the way it used to be, to his credit. And, just a week ago, I was sitting here defending the supporter groups for what happened with that family. But for that to happen last week, a week and a half ago, and then to see what happened Wednesday, and for there to be nothing but excuses from higher up, high-ranking people in the supporter groups, leadership people in the supporter groups, is ridiculous. It was a family of 4, not 20 guys down there taking pictures, and some of them were celebrating the goal by Lewandowski. And when that person celebrated the goal, that's what threw me that's really what ticked me off. I don't care if it's 1 or if it's 20. It's too many people in the wall celebrating a goal for the opposition.
2 guys, actually. I don't know if you mentioned this or not. Sorry, it was half in and half out. 2 guys celebrated with each other. Each other. Like, they looked at each other and they started bouncing up and down when Lewandowski put the ball in the back of the net. And I'm like, a minute. If you were in any other country in the world, you'd get your head kicked in.
Yeah. I straight up said
that's not a threat or anything. That's just true.
That's not endorsing it, but it's the fact of life. If you try to do that in any of the football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, they're interchangeable for me. Any of the football nations in the world, Germany, England, France, Italy, Spain, Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Mexico. Any of those countries, if that happened in their supporter section, their equivalent to the supporter section, those people would have been leaving, if they're lucky, on a stretcher.
Yeah.
If they're lucky. And that's not endorsing violence. It's just the fact of the matter of the way it is in other parts.
We don't endorse violence. It's just, it is what it is. And it just shows, like, we don't want anybody to get hurt. Say that again and again and again and again. We do not want anybody to get hurt. Let's just say that once and say that again. But there is no but about it. It's just, we ask for so little and we get nothing. That's it. We ask for so little and we get nothing. The little we ask for is that somebody from the opposite team just not be in our section. And if he is, just get him out. Or not even be there in the first place. That's not kind of hard.
There we go. You just blanked out for a second.
So did I, yeah. But basically what I was saying is, it's not hard to ask for to, have a little bit of a a little bit of a courtesy of just not having people in the wall with Bayern Munich kits or Messi kits or Barcelona or Real Madrid or any club. No other club. Right? It's just common courtesy. It's not rocket science. It's not.
It's not that hard. If Luke and I, when we're sitting in the anywhere from the 3rd to 7th row of the supporters section, can look behind us and pick out jerseys, it's not that hard. The
Yeah.
people that are 20 feet, towards the pitch for security can point them out.
And I don't care also. And another thing is there's these people that's going to come on here, John, and say, but I've got an Atletico Madrid, like, Antoine Griezmann kit. And I'm like, I don't care. It's not an Orlando
It's not
kit.
Orlando. It's not purple.
Neither is the France kit. It's not an Orlando
No.
kit. So it shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be there. It's like, no, it's not right. It's not in. No, I'm sorry. Orlando kits, neutral colors. That is it. Bish bash bosh, whatever you want to call it. That's the way it is.
It's simple. It's so simple. And for some reason, our front office is either ignorant or too stupid
Or both.
to endorse it, or both.
Or both. There
Or
could be a
both.
mix of both. Ignorance and stupidity.
Because it literally, like the thing that I can't get over is it's literally the first sentence. I have it pulled up right here. The first sentence on the Know Before You Go email that you get if you have tickets in the wall.
Yeah.
The first sentence.
Yeah. Same.
And the other thing I want to bring up, which was kind of something that you brought up, Luke, is the please note that the wall is a general admission standing room only section with first come first served. Standing locations, rows A through G in sections 24 through 26, capo stands and drum platform are reserved for our recognized supporters groups, Ruckus and Iron Lion Firm only. I know you have something to say about it. My piece to say about it is anybody that tries to say that that's outdated, that was updated last season.
I was updated this season.
No, it was last season.
Oh, yeah.
It was 24 through 26.
No, but I'm
last
saying
season.
it was in the email on Wednesday.
Yeah. But anybody that says it's outdated and it's just something the template the club uses, cool, it could be a template, but that sections 24 and 26 was updated last season because it changed. I remember being on Ticketmaster looking for tickets for somebody and just seeing 24, 25, and 26 grayed out. And then when you select the tickets, a pop-up comes up that gives you the rules of the supporter section on Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
So anybody that says it's outdated from pre-COVID, no, that's from last season. But go ahead with what you have to say about it too, Luke.
Yeah. So I posted that with a big zoom on the telly, courtesy of John. I did steal his image, so I'm sorry about that. I did steal his image. Just with people taking photos of the wall, and I quoted that off the game day email that was posted on that following Wednesday of the game, and it caused a bit of uproar, not as much as the tweet before, but like that's besides the point. It's like, and the reason I don't understand, it got uproar because it's not my words, it's the club's. So again, it's not my words, it's the club's. So when people are complaining and yelling and saying like all sorts, like after the weather delay happened, security gave up trying to check wristbands and who did and who didn't and blah blah blah, and like people are saying, again, people are kind of agreeing with me and saying it's embarrassing, and no voices are being heard at all. No voices are being heard. People are recognizing that there's an issue, and then like that's the whole where John got into a discussion with other people under that, and saying that leadership tried to get police involved and whatever. It's the fact
that's the old way of doing it, and the club wants nothing to do with it.
Exactly. And nobody should have an issue with me because I took that straight out of somewhere, straight out of the club. So if you want to have a problem with it, go to the club, not me. You know, because that's the new culture of the wall, I'm guessing, is where we could just video. And it's not like their body language is like, you know, what's the word? Intrigued to see if,
Propose saves it,
you know,
as somebody tried to say.
Propose saves it. They're interested in seeing if Lewandowski will score. Because there's a Norway kit, there's like a random Arsenal kit, there's a Bayern Munich kit 3 rows above them.
Looks
There's all
like
these
the France kit.
France
There's
kit.
a couple others that I picked out in
There's
there
a
as
couple
well.
other kits in there, you know, a couple of neutral shirts, but like that's allowed, but it doesn't matter. They shouldn't be allowed after that because they all should be videoed and caught on camera and not being allowed in because they're not there for the game or Orlando. So yeah,
More important than our win.
yeah. More importantly, Orlando.
Because, yeah, I mean, it's. Like, to me, it's 60% to show the support, maybe 70%, and 30 to 40% to be there for the match. I mean, you think about it. The matches that I won't stand out like a sore thumb because I'm chanting at the top of my lungs. I have no idea really what happened in those matches except for like the goals or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that, the first half of the Miami match this past year, a complete blur. You remember a couple years ago when one of our friends from Georgia visited us?
Oh yeah.
I didn't have a voice by halftime, and I don't even remember who was playing. So, you know, I can clear, and people are, oh, you're just, self. No, I go back and, when there's certain times where I just get fed up with it and with certain chants, and I'm like, this is how the chant should sound, and start chanting it the way it should sound because it's based off of a chant from a country that if cameras and opposing shirts were caught in their equivalent to the supporter section, the person would leave on a stretcher at minimum.
Yeah.
I knew that chant well before Orlando started doing that. Certain chants. So I'll start chanting it, and then I'll go back, and I'll know right around the time that I did that, and you can clearly hear me over top of the entire damn wall on the freaking TV. Luke's even attested to it.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't know if you didn't know it was like I was doing it at that time. You wouldn't know it was me, but it happens. It's happened several times this year. It happened several times last year. And for me to be able to be louder than the supposed 1,000 people that's between the two supporter groups, because they're supposed to have 500 active members, or we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, 600, because they're supposed to have 300 season ticket members.
Yeah.
So the fact that I can out-sing 600 people, out-chant 600 people on my own, that's the issue. That's the embarrassment. And God forbid 3 or 4 rest of our members of TCC come and chant.
Yeah.
You know, and this isn't a TCC versus Ruckus or TCC versus Iron Lion Firm or TCC versus supporter groups or me and Luke versus supporter groups. This is all of us that want what's best for our club against the front office. And that's the issue, because the front office is focused on making money. And as long as they see butts in the seats, they don't care.
Yeah, and it's obvious. They'd rather take away a whole section, 2 sections, for like expensive whatever prawn cocktail brigade seats. And like so many people who I know have lost their section where their season ticket were like a lot more expensive seats where you can eat a hot dog and a burger and have a table. And I'm like,
Not swivel seats.
whatever. Same shit.
No, I know.
Same stuff. Yeah, but that's the type of stuff that they're doing at the moment. You know, the club's going in a direction where it's just on a money-making scheme. But where's the money going? Is the money
Right into the owner's pockets.
Is the money going into the team? No, because look at us. Is the money going us trying to win a coin toss? No, no.
Do it, Luke. Do it.
Hopefully one
You're
of
not
those.
gonna-
Hopefully one of those coins that we get from that money ends up being a coin that we could win.
Well, it's the referee. It's the referee's coin. So.
Hopefully we could win a coin toss.
So maybe you need to infiltrate the referee's locker room and be like, "Hey, here's a coin. Make sure Orlando picks heads, and it's 2 heads, and we
Yeah,
still
it's a double-sided coin.
And we'd still end up kicking away from the wall because apparently that's a thing Poppy did for some reason.
Yeah.
Which on that when I heard that doesn't make any sense. Because if we're kicking away from the wall in the second half, that means our defense is towards the wall, which is away from our coaching staff because they're on opposite sides of the pitch.
Exactly.
And you're supposed to be winning a lot of your matches at home. And the way we played under Poppy is if we were up by 2 goals, we just sat back and defended. And supposedly, the rumor is that he liked it because it was easier for him to give instruction. But the team's, 70 yards, 50 to 70 yards away from him at all times because we're just back defending, absorbing the pressure. So it didn't make any. That made me laugh, and it just kind of showed how inept of a coach and inept of a manager Poppy was. Is if that was true, then you'd want the defense to be on your side of the pitch that the bench is on.
It shows also how inept this coaching staff is.
Mm-hmm.
Pep Fraudiola.
Well, so tactically we are wanting, but what I saw Saturday from Perelman, and obviously I wasn't on the main show because of my work schedule right now. But what I saw from Perelman, the passion and the intensity that I've seen and saw from Perelman Saturday, I loved. I liked it. He, if you would have seen how he celebrated, you didn't see it, Luke, because you were under the weather, but you would have thought we just had won a title the way he celebrated on the sidelines, which is good and bad. Obviously the coach needs to stay a little even keel, but that intensity and just that relief that he felt after the final whistle. Because it was a hard-fought match. It was Saturday was a good match, and I commented in the chat on the main show that he pushed all the right buttons on Saturday. Brought in the right subs. To me, I love Ellis, but we have to find a way to get DK on the pitch. Kind of transitioning. We're transitioning now. I'm tired of complaining.
Yeah.
We have to find a way to get DK on the pitch because in the stands I said, wow, he really opened the pitch up. And then when I rewatched it Sunday morning, the way he opened that, that middle third up for Griezmann, for our midfielders, was just astounding. And I mean, you take a look at the stats of that second half, other than goals in the back of the net, you don't find much more of a dominating half. Period. I mean, it was like 65% possession, 11 shots, 4 big chances. We more than doubled their passes, their number of total passes. Just an absolute stunner of a half by the boys. And part of the credit does have to go to Perelman for pushing the right buttons and bringing the right subs on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not quite double the passes. But, I mean, I just pulled up the stats. 62% possession, 11 shots, 30 touches in the opponent's box, 4 big chances, 233 passes for 88% accurate passes. and it's astounding. It's incredible what that second half looked like. Um, it's. I mean, for instance, we dominated him so much that they had half the offsides that they had in the first half. They were called offside 5 times in the first half. Believe it or not, yeah,
Really?
seven total seven total, and they were only called offside twice in the second half.
Wow.
And even when they brought their stars in, they brought Saba in, they brought what's his face, the Diego Luna on, they brought Sanabria on. I mean, there wasn't like this all of a sudden big thing where the match changed. Yeah, they had a couple more opportunities, but we still dominated. We still were able to take the air out of the ball.
Listen, it was on. I think it was quite a weird game in the sense of we were just kind of all over the place, and like there was some times, but then Griezmann kind of popped up out of nowhere, and this is what world class players do. World class players do this constantly. This is the difference between good, great, and world class. World class players show up whether they're really bad, like they could be on their worst day and they could just pop up. And on that day, Griezmann just popped up, got 2 goals, won the game, and that was lucky that game because I think on other games it couldn't have gone our way. So
yeah. I mean,
we were just lucky. I think
that second goal especially was luck. That ball could have bounced anywhere, and it just happened to bounce right back into his feet when he tried to hit the little flick past the DK. But again, that's one of those.
But you create your own luck.
Exactly. You have a star player that has the confidence and the class to pull that off the majority of the times. And he has the confidence to attempt that at a crucial point in the game.
Yeah.
And then DK, that the first goal, I still don't know how a man that's 6'4", nearly 200 pounds, pulls that ball down, has the footwork to get his feet set, and put a shot put a decent shot on.
He's agile for his weight and height.
That was that was a pretty fast, pacey pass into the middle, and he was able to have a soft enough touch to get it down, turn on the defender, get his feet set, and shoot. And it's amazing. You can tell he's starting to get the rust knocked off. We saw, one thing I remember about DK playing back when he was younger, before he went off to England, is he was trying so hard he was on the ground a lot, and that happened again Saturday, and it's just a matter of time before
he also had a lot of weight on him. I feel like he's heavy, but he's probably a bit lighter than he was before.
I would agree he's a little trimmed down a little bit.
Yeah,
he's still a beast, though. I mean, he's
still massive. But
how would you like to try to body him on a 50-50 for a goal kick?
He'd just be a trampoline. I'd just bounce right off it. I'd just fall up on the floor. I'm going to be honest. Yeah. There's no chance. I can't stand a chance against players like that. But, yeah.
Yeah, so... Yeah, but going forward, I was talking to Luke earlier. I also wanted to bring this up. They said they talked about it in the main show a little bit. But you look at our schedule going up; it is very favorable for us to potentially go on a pretty substantial run. Obviously, our next match this Saturday is against Minnesota. Then we play San Diego. Then we play, after San Diego, we play Atlanta. And then we play Toronto. So that's, including the win this past Saturday against Salt Lake.
And then you've got a US Open Cup semi-final.
Yeah, that's crucial. Probably the third biggest game in our club's history,
Something like that. I mean,
behind
if we go on
behind
to
the
win this, I mean, if we go on to win this US Open Cup semi final and US Open Cup final, which will be at home, I'm pretty sure.
yes, the final. If we win the final, we'll be at home.
Um, if we go on to do that, this will be a legit final, I think, because of the fact that we have played an away game against like a top MLS side. I know we played against an away game in the Rowdies and whatever, that happened, but like,
That year 22. That was a home match. Every match we played was.
every match was at home. Yeah.
Yeah, last year was the Rowdies match.
Okay, but yeah, I feel like if we go on to win this will be a legit title win under our belts because we went away and we did win somewhere.
We went away several times. We played
Naples
or New England away.
Yeah,
New England.
Yeah, New England away. We played Naples away, I think.
Yeah.
So we won. We've gone away 3 times and won.
Yeah.
Beat Atlanta on our way. Absolutely belted them.
Mm-hmm. Well, Atlanta was home.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
We did. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, our upcoming the next 4 matches we play
Minnesota, San Diego, Atlanta, Toronto.
Minnesota, who's 10th in the West. San Diego, who's 11th in the West. Atlanta, who's 12th, and Toronto, who's right behind us in 10th. Who's actually tied with us on points.
Yeah.
We have 2 more wins. So, I mean, very winnable games. I mean, if we can come away with 15 points, we very well should see ourselves
in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, and definitely no worse than 7th, possibly even up as high as 5th or 6th, depending on what Charlotte and
maybe on the edge of the top 4, depending on how that last few games go.
Yeah,
you go on a run in this league, you could find yourself from bottom end of the table to mid-table or mid-table to the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
You just win 4 or 5 games in a row, you're up there again.
Yeah, we're only 8 points off 4th. And it's like, earlier when I was talking to Luke, obviously Chicago, Miami, and Nashville right now, I could see getting 12 to 14 points, out of the next 4. But can you really trust New England, Charlotte, Cincinnati, and the 2 New York teams to get 12 points? No. And I mean, even if New York Red Bull or New York City FC gets 12 points, we would still be ahead of them with wins tiebreaker, tied on points ahead because we would have more wins. So, I mean, this is a crucial stretch, for us to win. It's like I told Luke, I said, "Is it weird that I'm kind of feeling positive about this right now?"
Yeah, it's a bit weird that you kind of have confidence in this team in a time.
It's not necessarily confidence; it's optimism. Am I confident we're going to win 5 in a row? No. I hope we get, 9 points, 10 points out of it.
Optimism is for children.
And sports fans.
No, I'm not optimistic. I'm delusional.
Yeah, true.
I'm a pessimist, not an optimist.
Mm-hmm. So, but why wouldn't you think the semifinal would be the 3rd biggest match in our club's history?
Well, you've got that Atlanta game in that semi-final leading up to the cup win. I remember we went on to the Rowdies game was a big game, I think, because it was away from home and we went out and thrashed them away. I think that was
last year.
So first of all, we had that Miami game, the first one.
Okay.
Where we went on, and the first one in our stadium.
Oh, okay.
where we went in and we beat them, right? Because they were like the new team on the block. Went on and beat them. I feel like that was a very significant win for us. Right, first playoff win. Where wasn't it Schlegel was in goal?
Schlegel was in goal in 2000. Yeah, for the
Our
penalties.
first playoff win. That was pretty historic. And then, so it would probably be the fourth.
Okay.
Now, if we go to the final, then it will be like the second biggest game.
See, I go for how should I phrase it? Consequential. The third most consequential game.
I would say it would probably be important.
Important. There you go. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Biggest.
To me, you have.
Biggest.
To me, importance. You have obviously the most important one was the U.S. Open Cup final.
Yeah.
The second most important was the MLS Cup semifinal that we lost, and then this one.
You didn't call it. I realized you didn't call it the conference final then.
Well, conference final, MLS Cup semi, whatever.
I thought you did it on purpose then, but it was like.
To me, with the way the conferences are, or the way the league's set up, to call it a conference final is the dumbest thing.
Yeah, I know.
The dumbest thing. It's the MLS Cup semifinal.
Yeah. It's the semifinal.
Like, nobody celebrates winning the conference final. It's not like in the NBA. Nobody in the MLS celebrates winning the conference final. It's did you win the MLS Cup? Did you win Supporter Shield? Did you win U.S. Open Cup?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those, But it's going to be a shorter show tonight. Luke's. We recorded this at a later time. Some stuff happened. We don't have to get into. Everybody's fine. Everybody's safe.
I know.
But,
I'm alive.
Other than Luke's 2 fingers from yesterday.
Oh, don't even want to. That's fair. Please just come up to me during the game and you'll find out. I won't be getting into any fights anytime soon.
It sounded really dirty the way I said that, but Luke injured himself yesterday moving a refrigerator. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I won't be getting into any fights anytime soon.
Yeah. Not that you're getting into fights anytime.
Not like
any other time. But thank you for everybody that'll watch this. If you have anything to add, please leave a comment below. If you have anything you want to say, leave a comment. If you want to be on the show, you can be from one of the supporter groups and feel like we have it 100% wrong. Come on. We'd love to hear. We'd love to have a debate and, try to find some middle ground about what we may have, what our perceptions may be wrong. The only thing that we would ask is that you come with an open mind as well to let us give our point and listen to what we're saying. That's the only thing that we ask to come on the show. If you have something, a story about something that you experienced with the team recently or in the past, feel free to, anybody that wants to join can come on. We want this show to be an open platform for Orlando City supporters, Orlando City fans, supporters and fans, again, another term that's interchangeable to me. Honestly, the only difference between a supporter and a fan is the fans are the people that, aren't as intense as maybe, Luke, David, Ahmed, and Misael, and myself are. The supporters are the ones that are there through thick and thin. The fans are just like, a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Casual than supporters. But we want this show to be a place where the supporter can come on and the fan can come on and give their opinion and, have a good conversation about the club that we love, that we all want to see succeed both on and off the pitch. And if it's your first time watching, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure the notification bell is clicked on. That way you get the notifications of our new videos for Extra Time, as well as when the main show does go live every Monday night during the season at 9 p.m. which we may be switching next season to being exclusively on YouTube. So yeah, we do appreciate everybody that comes on. Believe it or not, Luke and I do appreciate the supporter groups for the things that they do. And if they need backing up, we back them up. If they need criticism, we criticize them, just like our club. We just want all facets of our club to be successful, and and just to be successful. That's the only way I can say it. Do you have anything else to add before we leave, Luke, other than kick towards the wall?
In the bloody second half. What we're doing? I'm gonna keep on saying it. Somebody's gonna watch me.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that Griezmann winner being in front of the wall.
Yeah, being in front of the wall
there would have been
in the second half.
Yeah.
Except it gets to go to the prawn cocktail brigade. No, I'm joking. There's nothing wrong with that section.
You're only saying that because both David's sit in that section.
Yeah, I know.
So, but thank you, everybody. We really enjoyed hosting the show tonight, and hope to see you guys next time. And as always, vamos Orlando.
Schleger's in the back. The shot, Schleger saved it!